Welcome back, everyone. It's now been a couple of games since the Boston Fleet and New York Sirens made a one-for-one trade, swapping Taylor Girard for Jill Saulnier. Today, I'm going to give a more detailed recap on how this will affect both teams. Before I get into it, be sure to hit that subscribe button below so you don't miss any of my new uploads. Also, follow me on my other social media, Instagram, X, and Threads at PWHL Source. In the couple of games I've watched since this deal went down, I've enjoyed watching what Saulnier has brought to Boston. She plays a fast and pesky style that I hope to see rub off on some of the younger players. I'm hoping to see her mentor someone like Lexia Gia, as I feel she's been underperforming this season, and Saulnier's experience should be able to help her with that. Now for New York, they add some size and a former number 1 overall pick in the PHF by the Connecticut Whale in Girard. She wasn't being used a ton by Boston, and she's been playing fourth line minutes with New York. I don't have a ton to say about her right now, but only time will tell. Now, Boston took a couple of risks making this move. Saulnier has dealt with some injuries over the past couple of seasons and was just recently coming off one before this trade. Given the way Boston likes to play, I can see her possibly getting hurt again, even more so now that she's playing a more important role. Also, they chose to split up Taylor Girard and Lexia Gia, who are very close with one another and even began their own podcast. At the end of the day, though, this is a business, and sometimes you have to give to get. I'm hoping that this will light a fire under Gia to do well, because I want to see a player like her succeed. I'm a bit surprised this move went down as soon as it did, but I don't think these two teams are done dealing with each other. I expect them to make another move or two before the deadline. Each team has a couple of players that haven't fit in super well this season. Earlier in the month, the Hockey News drew up a mock trade between the two teams. Let me just pull that up. So their trade involved sending Chloe Girard and Elizabeth Giguère to Boston for Lauren Gable and Taylor Girard. Now obviously this move can't go down like this anymore given that Girard has already been moved, but I can see a deal coming involving the other players mentioned. All three others have had reduced roles this season, which is understandable considering all the new talent entering the league this season. That's part of the problem with having just a 6-team league. Some players aren't being used to their full potential. I'm excited to see what expansion will look like next season, assuming it does happen next season. I'm not 100% sure that Boston has a spot for Giguère on their roster at this point, but if they wanted to acquire her, I could see them packaging in someone like Sophie Shirley or Lexia Gia. But I don't think they'd package Shirley in because she just signed an extension in the offseason, so the contracts don't match up. Giguère did play one season with the Boston Pride in the PHF, so she's familiar with the area. I can still see a package like this going down involving the two teams, but I can also see them trying to trade Giguère to a team like Ottawa. Just not sure who they'd be wanting to give up right now. I still would expect Chloe Girard and Lauren Gable to swap places, but I came up with my own package recently, which involves New York trading Chloe Girard and Jade Downey Landry to Boston for Lauren Gable and Lexia Gia. With this move, New York would acquire a former Patty Kazmaier winner in Gable to go along with another former winner of the award in Giguère. Those two are also former teammates with the Boston Pride in the PHF. Since getting hurt in the takeover game in Detroit last season, Gable's ice time with Boston has diminished. Giving her a fresh start with a trade will give her a chance to revitalize her career. But I would think that Gable would still likely get third line minutes in New York given how stacked they are up front. If I'm the coach, I put her on a line with Giguère and Nora Toulouche. That way you can combine speed, size, and scoring on that third line. With Lexia Gia, you would add a little bit of youth. She'd likely still be getting fourth line ice time though, but you'd still maintain the size that Downey Landry has. Both players haven't produced as much this season given that they're now in smaller roles. I'm not convinced that Boston wants to trade Gia, however. For Boston, you start off by reuniting Girard with Alina Mueller, who played together at Northeastern University, which you would expect to have a positive effect on the chemistry after playing together for multiple years. This would likely mean that Mueller goes back to playing center, and their line would likely be Girard, Mueller, and Rattray, or maybe Schaffsal, and they can create their own Euro line. I don't know if Rattray is in Boston's future plans. She currently only has one goal this season. I think it's possible they leave her exposed if they have an expansion draft this year. By adding Downey Landry, they maintain a tall, physical presence in their depth. The concern I have with her is her penalty minutes. Boston does have the second best penalty kill in the league currently, but are tied for the third most times they're shorthanded. They would have to be even more confident in their ability to kill off penalties if they were to make this move. Downey Landry does have more playing experience that can help the depth temporarily though. She likely won't re-sign, but I'm curious to know what you guys think. So those are my thoughts on this recent trade as well as some potential future moves. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like. That's a good way to show your support. Also get in the comments below. Who do you think won this trade? Who do you believe will get traded in the future? Where do you think expansion will take place next season? Anyways, that'll wrap it up for now. I'll see you next week. Bye!